Welcome everyone to day number 13, October 13. Beautiful. On the last video, we saw the get days between function, tail-recursive function. In this video, we will go ahead and continue with the extractPath, tail-recursive function. So we click on it and it takes us to this page where we can see some examples on how to use it. We click on it and it opens the code input and output. So let's go ahead and take the input first. Perfect. And now let's go ahead and take the code snippet. Sweet. Now, this may be a little bit confusing if you're not familiar with it, because basically what I'm doing is just extracting the value 1 from here. So yes, I can in theory just do object.array 0 and then take .test, and I will take the value 1. The thing here is that we want this path to be a string. Now, I think that there's an easier way to do this with some of the new functions in DataWeave, but I'm not sure yet. So if you discover a better option to do this, please let me know, or feel free to just create a PR in my code. The thing is that we want to pass 2 different arguments to this function. The first thing is a payload. So whatever we have here in the input, we're going to pass as the first argument. And on the second argument, we want to have a string to get to the path that we have. And I'm almost sure that there's an easier way to do this. I think that I'm just doing it manually, and there's an easier way to do it with a core function that already exists. But anyway, this is what we have and this is what we're going to use. So we do object, which is this, .array 0 .test. And that's how we get to this value. If I wanted to take the second object instead of the first one, I can just do this, and you can see that now I have value 2. What happens if I take out the array? I just have object.array.test. Then I get an array with my value 1 and value 2, and so on. You get the idea of what's going on here. So basically how this function works, we're using the isNumeric and the substring after functions from the DW core strings module. Let me show you this documentation. Now here in the documentation, we have the strings module. And if we go to the isNumeric function here, we will see how this is being used. I'm not gonna go through it. I can do it in the next video if you want. I'm just gonna show you where it is. And the second one was the substring after. So the substring after is here. And here's the documentation for that function. So we're using those 2 functions to do the following. First, we have the function. We receive a value that can be of any type, and we receive a path that must be a string. If we don't send a string, this is going to fail. Now we open with a do, which will let us create localized variables inside the function. We have this variable next item. And what we're doing here is we're getting the path, so the string that we get, and we do a scan. And then we're scanning for W+. What does this mean? Let me show you in a regex page. So if I go back and I take this string right here and I put it in my regexr.com page, let me make this bigger. If I put this here, and then if I take this regex and put it here, this is what's happening. It's separating the word. So /W means word, and then the plus means quantifier. So it matches one or more of the preceding token. So we just want the words. And if we add here the global flag, we can see what we're getting. We're getting object, array, 1, and test. here, if I click here on list, I can see everything that I'm getting. So I'm getting object, array, 1, and test. So this is what I'm getting with my scan function. And then I just have to extract this. Again, I'm not gonna go through this because I have to explain the scan function, so I may do that on the next video. Now, in the actual code, what we're doing is we have an if. So if this next item is empty, then we send back the value. If it's not empty, then in this case, I'm creating another context, but if you can avoid it, please avoid it if possible. So I'm creating now another set of variables that can be used inside this other context. So I'm using isIndex to check if this next item is a number. So if it's, for example, 1, which is this case, if that's the case, then this is going to be true. Then the extractor is taking this value, this Boolean value, and then doing a match. And saying if this is true, then do next item as number. If this is false, then just do next item. And now that I see this, actually I can use my other utilities function that I have here. I don't know if you saw this video, but there's a video where I explain everything here in the utilities. So now that I see this, I can actually use the getNumber function from here to do this whole thing instead of having to do all of this. But anyway, I'm not gonna do this right now. And then I have another variable with the rest of the path. So I'm getting a substring. So everything that is after whatever I'm getting is gonna get sent into the rest of path variable. So now I'm just calling the same function, which is what makes it a tail-recursive function. I'm calling the same function and I'm sending the value and the extractor. So again, if this is an index, this is going to be a number instead of a string. And if this is not a number and it's just, for example, object or array, then it's going to be a string. If I do value and then square brackets and then put here inside a string or a number, this is going to extract whatever is there inside. So I'm sending this value to the next one, and then I'm sending the rest of the path with it. So what's happening is that first I'm extracting the object, then I'm sending everything that's left to do the function again. Then I'm extracting the array, and then I'm sending whatever is left to the function again. Then I'm extracting the index 1, and then sending it again, and so on until I get to my final place. Let me check if I can do a log out of this. All right, so I added 2 logs here. One that is here inside the if and one that is inside the else. So now that I'm logging everything that's happening on the first iteration, I'm getting my complete object, which is everything that I have here on the input. Oh, okay. Everything that I have here on the input is my first iteration. And then I use the extractor to get my first thing, which was object. So once I get object, you see that I'm indeed getting payload.object. And then I send that to the second iteration or third, and I get an array with test value 1 and test value 2. Then I send that and I extract my number 1 index, which is test value 2. And I finally do dot test to that, and I extract my value 2 string. And that is how this function can be used. All right, for the next video, I'm gonna go through all of the things that I said I was gonna go through in this video. And that's it. Remember to subscribe here, follow me on socials there. And thank you. That's it for this video. Let me know if you liked it, if you want me to keep doing any other kind of videos. Subscribe and see you on the next video. Bye!